Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the special meeting of the Madera City Council. Notwithstanding some technical difficulties that we had to start, we will get going here in a second. Today is Monday, January 25th, 2001. This meeting will be conducted pursuant to the provisions of the Governor's Executive Order, which suspends certain requirements of the Ralph M. Brown Act. The City Council meeting will be live streamed on the city's website on YouTube at www.youtube.com/cityofmaderatv. Members of the public may participate in the meeting remotely through an electronic meeting in the following ways: via phone, by dialing 669-900-6833, enter ID 973-9960-7745, pound, followed by *9 on your phone to speak. Comments will also be accepted via email at citycouncilpubliccomment@madera.gov or by regular mail at 205 West 4th Street. Madera, California, 93637. I will point you out to the link, which has been just installed recently to allow our public to make sure that they can access full transparency all of our meetings. So thank you very much, Arnoldo, for making this happen. I'm sure, Alicia, you also helped, so that if someone wants to live stream, they can go directly to our agenda, click on the link, and then be taken to YouTube. So I call this meeting to order. Alicia, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Garcia.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Villegas.
Here.
Councilmember Gallegos.
Here.
Councilmember Rodriguez. I don't see him on the screen just yet.
He said that he was going to be a couple of minutes late.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Montes.
Here.
Councilmember Evans.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Please rise and stand and join me for the invocation led tonight by Councilmember Anita Evans.
Gracious Father, thank you for this day, Father God. Thank you for blessing us to have this fellowship here right now, Father. We come to you for a special meeting. We ask that you allow each one of us, Father, to do your will, Father God. We thank you for allowing us to be here and to gather, and we just ask that you continue to watch over us and keep us and continue to just take care of our country, Father God, because we're in turmoil, and we ask that you continue to bless us and keep us in your Son's precious name, Christ Jesus. Amen.
Could you please remain standing and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance led by Arnoldo Rodriguez.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We now move to the approval of the agenda. I'll look for approval from my colleagues.
I first it.
Second.
Who's the first?
Anita.
Okay. And second by Mr. Montes?
Yes.
Okay. Alicia, could you please call roll?
District 1.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes, and for the record, Alicia, I'm at the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. District 3.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 6.
Yes.
Mayor Garcia.
Aye.
Final vote, 6 yes votes and 0 no votes. Motion passes.
Thank you. I will now ask for public comment. Members of the public shall have an opportunity to address the City Council regarding matters on this agenda. Speakers should limit their comments to 3 minutes.
Mayor and council, this one's a little different from your regular special meetings, if that makes sense. But the way this matter is, you would have the process would be for you to call the candidates in order, and then your public comment is going to come after. So the city clerk's going to give you a report, then you'll have the presentations, then members of the public can ask questions at that time.
Okay, thank you very much. Alicia, we're going to give a report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Bear with me. I'm going to share my screen here. If you see. Can anyone see my screen for this?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, council and members of the public. This evening, I will go over the city council appointment to fill vacancy in Council District 5. I'll begin with sharing some background. On December 2nd, 2020, the council determined to fill the vacancy created by the election of Santos Garcia to the mayor seat. The midterm vacancy requires that the council fill the vacancy by appointment or special election. While council decided to pursue the appointment process, council could still elect to fill the vacant seat by special election in November of this year. An invitation to submit the applications for appointment were posted in the Madera Tribune and on the city's website, and also on our city social media platforms. The deadline to submit the application was Tuesday, January 12th, 2021 at 5 p.m. And any person that met the following criteria was eligible to apply and be considered. They had to be a resident of District 5, a registered voter, and a U.S. citizen 18 years of age and older or older. The city received 4 applications. 1 applicant withdrew after it was determined that the applicant lived outside of the council district. The 3 applicants for consideration this evening are Christopher Marascotti, Elsa Mejia, and Matilda Villafan. Staff is recommending that eligible applicants be provided up to 5 minutes to introduce themselves and express their interest in this position. After all candidates make their presentations, council may ask questions of the candidates. Members of the public will have an opportunity to comment on the candidates, and council will then deliberate in open session and proceed to make its selection. And as far as council action this evening, the council may motion and second to make an appointment. Deliberations will be held, and if the motion receives 4 affirmative votes, proceed to adopt the resolution making the appointment. If the motion does not receive the 4 affirmative votes, they may entertain another motion. If necessary, council may continue with subsequent motions until an applicant receives the 4 affirmative votes. If the council is unable to select, or in the event of a tie vote after multiple votes, the council would need to adopt a resolution calling for a special election. In order to meet the language in Elections Code Section 36512B1, a special election may not occur before the next regularly established election date of November 2nd, 2021. The estimated cost of holding a special election in November 2021 is between $15,000 and $20,000. Council, that is the end of my report. And if you have any questions that either I or City Attorney can answer for you.
No, I believe we're ready.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
if I
sir.
may. Yes, I just wanted to ask a question here to our city attorney. Now, the concept of a special election, I know that we're taking this out to November, but in any case that does happen, a special election, I mean, would that go out that far out if that came to it, or can this be considered something sooner because it's special? Just want to clarify that if you don't mind, please.
Thank you for the question. No, there's some very specific language in the elections code. And as we advised you when you were trying to determine whether to call an election or whether to make the appointment, the elections code provides that the next election where you could take action, even if it's a special election, would be in November of this year. So that would be the earliest. So the effect would be that if you decide or are unable to appoint somebody this evening, then you would need to adopt the resolution.
Thank you for clarifying that, Hilda.
So we will now begin by a 5-minute presentation by each candidate. I believe Mr. Marascotti is first.
Okay. Hello, good evening. My name is Christopher Marascotti. I own and operate the Vineyard Restaurant here in Madera. I've been lived in Madera for most of my life. I'm interested in this opportunity in the city council and serving on the city council because I love Madera. I've lived here all my life, and this is where I'm probably going to live all my life. But I think that now is a time of great opportunity and great challenges. No one knows what the post-COVID world is going to look like. And I think there's a lot of opportunity here in Madera for us to really grow and take advantage of the changes that are going to happen because of that. And I think Madera has a lot of things going for it that allow us to do that. So I would like to be part of those decisions. I think I could be an asset in making those decisions. Specifically, some of the things that one of the things I think that Madera needs is improved internet access for everyone. That's one of the things I feel is pretty important. I also feel that things that affect people's lifestyle, whether that's outdoor activities or cleanliness of the community and things like that, are very important for this community. Those are big things with me. I think that a lot of things are going to change, and some of the things, funding, sales tax, is not going to be as big an issue as maybe it used to be with the advent of online purchasing. And I think that there will be a lot more opportunities here in Madera for people to stay and work in Madera when people can work from home. And that's why one of the reasons I think that internet access is so important. So that's basically it. I mean, I think I have you can read my experience and my education, and I've had experience on different boards in the past. So I think I would be an asset to the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The procedure will be for us as a city council to ask one question in order. After everyone has had the opportunity to ask a question, then we will circle back and you will be allowed a subsequent order. So my council members, my fellow council members, if you could raise your hand, I will call each of you in order so that you can ask a question of each candidate. Mr. Montes.
I just have a clarification. So these same questions will be asked of every candidate? Are we going to keep track?
We can, Alicia, if you could help us keep track of the questions. This is really a free-for-all. I don't have any indication about whether or not we necessarily have to ask a person the same question.
There is no legal requirement that you ask all the candidates the same question, because some of the applicants, when they make their presentation, will respond to some of the questions. It is up to you. In the employment situation, as you know, it is recommended to ask the same questions, but not for this.
Thank you very much for that, Hilda. Cece, Councilwoman Gallegos.
Just for clarification, Mayor Garcia, are we going to hear all of the 3 candidates first and then circle back for questioning? Or are we doing one at a time and then questioning?
So we're doing one at a time. Each candidate will be, you can ask their questions, and we'll finish up with that candidate, and then we'll go to the second candidate, and then the third candidate. So at this time, you're free to ask your questions. Councilwoman Evans. Let me see if we can unmute you.
Muted, Councilwoman Evans.
I'm the mute queen, so I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Your district touches District 4. Okay, we share the river right here. So now, are you very well versed as far as District 5 and the things that are happening on this side of 99 versus the other side of 99?
Yes, you know, I understand your question. Yeah, I am. I know what's happening in Madera. I know what the community is. I have no illusions that my side of 99, the small little part of District 5 on 99 is the whole community, is the whole district. That's correct. I know what the whole district looks like, and I know what the whole city looks like.
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Gallegos.
Mr. Marascotti, I saw on your application that you do have experience of sitting on the board of the Chamber of Congress, which is a great importance to us. That's part of your district and part of our downtown. That's very important. So can you elaborate on what has happened with the Chamber of Congress and what your vision in it and where you're going from there?
Well, I mean, it's been a few years since I've been on the Chamber of Commerce, so I can't answer what they're doing today. I was involved right when they moved into that part of the new office, and right after that. You know, the Chamber's always been business friendly and trying to bring new businesses to Madera. I think that's a positive thing, of course, bring new jobs. I don't know that the traditional way of doing those things, tax breaks and things like that they've advocated in the past, is going to work in the future. And I don't know, you know, I don't want to be a pessimist, but I don't know that we're going to attract Target to move downtown Madera or Target to move on Avenue 17 or things like that. Not because of anything in Madera, but I think that world is changing. And so I think that a lot of the traditional things that the Chamber thought were going to happen, or maybe everybody thinks are going to happen, are changing now.
Thank you.
Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor Garcia. Chris, as a business owner, what issues do you see with small businesses within our community?
Well, it's issue. Well, there's many issues, but what happens when normal comes back, whatever normal might be, I think that's going to really change how the business environment is. And Madera is pretty business friendly. I have not had any problems. I know that some people complained about that. I don't think that the city of Madera has been business unfriendly. I think that, you know, once again, I would like to see the whole community do better economically. And I think if we all do better, all small businesses, all big businesses will do better here. So I'm for a broad-based growth across everything, better jobs, better education. Does that answer your question? I don't know.
Yeah, and I'll just expand on that. If
Sure.
you would, as a council member, if you were appointed as a council member, what would you do now with these struggling businesses, especially with COVID? And it might not be as fair to ask, you know, but I'm asking, I want to get a sincere answer, because you, one, are a business owner, obviously, and with COVID, I think businesses that struggled not only around the state, but locally here. So what would you do to try to change that here, as far as if you were appointed as a council member? What sort of decisions or what sort of initiatives would you do?
Well, I would specifically urge and help all small businesses to try and get the California grants that are available now, the state of California grant So that was one initial thing. I'm in favor of obeying the health department regulations because I want to see this thing finished, not drag on forever. So there's an answer that might be different than a lot of people might say because they want to open up today. I don't know that opening up today is a long-term answer. What else? I don't know that there's any, if the city of Madera could waive and the county could waive fees for the next 6 months, 12 months, that would be a good answer. Or specifically the health department waived their yearly fee till this month. It's due, ours was due in November, so they waived it till January. I'd like to see them waive it again. There's a lot of fees like that even if business has stopped or slowed down, those fees continue. So if the city could stop that would be helpful to small businesses.
Thank you, Chris.
Mhm.
I think I saw you say
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Montes.
okay. Yeah, Mr. Montes, go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, so mine, I'm going to try to ask the same questions and kind of more of a thought process question. So what would you do if you made a bad decision or if you realized later that you could have made a better decision?
Well, I don't know what the whole procedure is for backing up on your decisions. And I certainly know I've made plenty of bad decisions in my life, or I would hope that I could examine them beforehand. So, but I don't know how, once you vote yes or no, I mean, I think that's kind of it's a final decision, right? So I would like to give it thought before I make those decisions, but I guess you have to live with what the decisions you make.
Mr. Villegas?
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Christopher Marascotti. Did you know the demographics of the district and how how much you know the needs of the district and how do you plan to address the main concerns?
Okay, well, yeah, I know the demographics of the district and I know the demographics of Madera. And I have no illusions that I represent the typical District 5 constituent, but at least in my appearance and other things. But I think that I represent their basic goals. I mean, we all want to live in a safe environment. We all want to do well economically. We all want to have our families do well and hope that our families do better. So I think in that respect, I think I do kind of represent most of the people in the district. And yeah, I know a lot of people. I don't just live in my bubble of people just like me. So I think I'm pretty aware and to what the lives other people are living, excuse me. And I would certainly do my best to understand everyone's lives and see what we can do to help them and to support them.
Okay. I like it.
You're welcome.
Okay. I don't see any more hands raised. Does anybody have any further questions of this? Okay, well, thank you very much for that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I had one more question. Sorry, I couldn't hit the button fast enough.
Okay.
So my last question is, Mr. Marascotti, what would you do to prepare for an item that you did not have any experience with in the past?
Okay. Well, I suspect I'd rely on the city staff for their input. Or if they don't have any expertise, I guess it would be to call whoever the what do I want to say, the interested parties and get their expertise. If it's a personal thing, and if it's something outside of that, and do a little bit of research reading on my own.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One more?
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes. On Yosemite, because we kind of sort of share Yosemite because it's the back-to-back. What would you do as far as some of the businesses that are down there and as far as an improvement on Yosemite?
Well, this is something that we talked that has been talked about forever. I mean, I was on the Shop Madera committee 15, 20 years ago and on the chamber to improve. You know, one of the things they always talked about is to make it not a city get the state highway designation on there to improve parking. I don't know if that's an issue. If that would help anything. I think actually it's fairly vibrant downtown. If you look at other downtowns in the valley, I think there's more going on in downtown Madera than in a lot of those places. I'd like to see something happen with the vacant lot there on E in Yosemite. I don't know. There was a lot of talk about something going in there. It doesn't seem like anything is happening. I think the best thing we could do is, you know, make it clean and make it safe. I don't know. Once again, I mean, are you going to, or is there a way to attract a major retailer there? Or I mean, you got to be realistic. And I don't know that that's going to happen anywhere now. So, you know, there was talk years ago, we're going to bring in this retailer, that retailer. I don't know if that'll happen. I think one thing that would be good for downtown Madera is to get more government offices located on or near Yosemite, and that would create a demand for small restaurants, small stores, and I think that would be very helpful. I think it would have been great to put the city council, the city college there. I think that would have helped Madera, but I mean, that's done. So I think as much, I believe that the veterans building there, that'll help because that will bring people there, and people will need to stores, and we hope small restaurants and coffee houses and bars or whatever will thrive.
Thank you.
Mr. Marascotti, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
There's two things on my radar that I'm looking at in our environment. One of them is high-speed rail, and so I'm a proponent. Just to be transparent, I'm a proponent of high-speed rail, and I want to see it succeed. So I'd like to get your opinion on high-speed rail and what it can or cannot do for Madera County specifically. And second, if you've been watching, we're discussing cannabis and what we're going to be able to do with cannabis, whether it's retail or growth, etc. So I'd like to hear your views on both of those.
Okay. Well, I'm opposed to the high-speed rail. I don't think it really helps Madera. I don't even know if it helps California as much as I'm in favor of the future. I think it's kind of medium speed rail at best. And by not stopping in Madera, I mean, I don't think that it helps us really at all. By the time you drive to Fresno or drive to Merced and get on the high-speed rail to get to Los Angeles or San Francisco, you could have driven there. So I'm not a proponent for it, and I think that it's, you know, over budget, and it's not that it's actually. If I looked at some of the ridership expectations of it, I think that's pretty unrealistic. I forgot what they are now, but they seemed very unrealistic at the time to me. So I'm an opponent of high-speed rail, and I'm a proponent of cannabis stores. I mean, I don't see a problem with those, and if they're going to be in Merced and Modesto and Fresno, I think that I don't have a problem with that, and I think it's just another legal business now. As long as they're regulated, it should be another business just like any other. I mean, I make a living selling liquor, so I think or food and liquor. So the difference between cannabis and alcohol, yeah, there are some differences, but I think as long as they're regulated, I don't have an issue.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question? Do we have any public comment? Alicia, do we have anybody chiming in?
Mayor, do you want to I would recommend you do public comment after all the applicants, if you wish.
Okay. So public comment and questions? Hilda?
Public comment,
Like, what I'm looking at is if someone from the public would like to ask a question.
generally, members of the public don't ask questions to speakers. They can say, I would like to know, and then a council member can then ask the question.
Okay. Well, at this point, I'm going to allow for public to ask a question of Mr. Marascotti, if there's any there available. If not, then we'll move on to the next candidate.
Let me go through. I received some emails that I've gone through already. As we're speaking, I've received a few more. Let me just get through those really quick, Mayor. One moment.
And we'll take them one at a time, and if they're addressed to a particular candidate, I'd like to give them an opportunity.
Thank you.
They're generally comments, not questions from the public, Mayor, but there could be one, I guess.
And that is correct, City Attorney. I've received comments, but no questions, and they are for a different candidate.
Okay, then we'll move on. Thank you, Mr. Marascotti.
You're welcome.
Next up is Elsa Mejia.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Elsa Mejia. I am a lifelong Madera resident and have lived in District 5 for more than 20 years. As the years go by, I've realized more and more just how privileged I am to call Madera home. Not everyone gets to see their cultures blended in the place they decided to remain in for life. My parents left Oaxaca, Mexico, and arrived in Madera more than 30 years ago as undocumented immigrants. I am 100% proud to state this because it is through the immense sacrifice of two teenagers who left behind loving families, tight-knit communities, and a familiar world that I have enjoyed the opportunities that shaped who I am today. A job, an education, and living in a growing community with warm and friendly people. My four siblings and I have definitely been fortunate to call Madera home, and it is also where our own families are now flourishing. I love my home, which is why I have been involved in it since my own teenage years. Be it by volunteering at our local hospital, by speaking to City Council, advocating for the plot on 4th and Lake Streets to become a community garden, or by co-founding a grassroots group to mobilize people to register to vote. If our community needs a hand, I'm in. Some local groups and clubs I have been involved in include the Madera Coalition for Community Justice, Madera Youth Leaders, American Association of University Women, and the Evening Lions Club. As a journalist for the Madera Tribune, I got to hear and write the stories of many members of our community for almost a decade. In addition to my own experiences, writing for our local paper helped me open my lens to different perspectives and circumstances in our city. I don't seek recognition. My interest is simply in improving the place I live in because honestly, who doesn't want to improve their home? That is why I have applied to fill the City Council vacancy in District 5. I believe that my experience as a resident, my willingness to serve, my education, and my background give me a unique ability to represent our district well. In Madera, a high percentage of Spanish speakers bring the beauty of diversity to our community. So I will now introduce myself in Spanish, my native tongue. Thank you. Buenas tardes, alcalde y miembros del consejo. Mi nombre es Elsa Mejía. He sido residente en Madera toda mi vida y he vivido en el Distrito 5 por más de 20 años. A medida que pasan los años, me he dado cuenta cada vez más del gran privilegio que tengo por poderle llamar a Madera mi hogar. No todos pueden ver sus culturas mezcladas en el lugar en el que decidieron permanecer de por vida. Mis padres dejaron Oaxaca, México y llegaron a Madera hace más de 30 años como inmigrantes indocumentados. Estoy 100% orgullosa de decir esto porque es a través del inmenso sacrificio de dos adolescentes quienes dejaron atrás sus familias amorosas, comunidades unidas y un mundo conocido que he disfrutado de las oportunidades que tengo. Un empleo, una educación y el vivir en una comunidad creciente con gente cálida y amigable. Mis 4 hermanos y yo definitivamente hemos sido afortunados de llamar a Madera hogar y también es donde nuestras propias familias están floreciendo ahora. Amo mi hogar, por lo que he estado involucrada en él desde mi propia adolescencia, ya sea como voluntaria en nuestro hospital local, hablando ante el Consejo de la Ciudad, abogando para que la parcela en las calles Cuarta y Lake se convirtiera en un jardín comunitario, o cofundando un grupo comunitario para movilizar a las personas para que se inscriban a votar. Si nuestra comunidad necesita una mano, yo se la echo. Algunos grupos y clubes locales en los que he participado incluyen la Coalición de Madera para la Justicia de la Comunidad, Líderes Jóvenes de Madera, la Asociación Americana de Mujeres Universitarias y el Club de Leones. Como periodista de Madera Tribune, pude escuchar y escribir las historias de muchos miembros de nuestra comunidad durante casi una década. Además de mis propias experiencias, escribir para nuestro diario local me ayudó a abrir mi lente a diferentes perspectivas y circunstancias en nuestra ciudad. No busco reconocimiento, mi interés es simplemente mejorar el lugar en el que vivo, porque honestamente, ¿quién no quiere mejorar su casa? Es por eso que he solicitado llenar la vacante del ayuntamiento en el Distrito 5. Creo que mi experiencia como residente, mi disposición de servir, mi educación y mis antecedentes me dan una capacidad única para representar bien nuestro distrito. Gracias.
Nicely done. I was wondering if we were going to go over 5 minutes, but you did well.
Thank you.
I will start with anyone wanting to ask a question. My council members. Artemio?
Yes. Elsa, I want to ask you the same question I asked to Mr. Chris. I can see you know the demographics of Madera, but okay, anyway, do you know the demographics of the district? How do you know the needs of the districts, and how do you plan to address their main concerns?
Yeah, so I think that like I mentioned, my experience living in District 5 makes me share the same issues and concerns that my neighbors have. And I do believe that I represent the demographics well. I see a lot of people that look like me, that speak like me. And that's how I'm able to hear their concerns, the things they worry about as well. So yes, I do believe that I know the demographics and I represent them well.
Okay.
Councilmember Montes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Ms. Mejia, I wanted to ask the same question that I asked before. So what would you do if you made a bad decision, or if you realized later that you could have made a better decision?
If I made a bad decision, I would feel bad. We're all human and we all make errors. But I think that I would use my error, I would learn from it, and I would seek out ways and future decisions to try to repair that or do better.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gallegos?
Good evening, Ms. Mejia. My question is kind of correlates the same as Mr. Mascotti. You said that you've been involved in very different clubs. Can you elaborate on Madera Evening Alliance and the Coalition of Justice, what you've done with those clubs?
Yeah, so the Madera Evening Club, I was a member when I was in high school, and we did community service projects. And then the Madera Coalition for Community Justice, my sister invited me when I was in middle school. She's a former member as well. And I believe that the coalition played a critical role in involving me in several different issues and educating me, and also encouraging my civic participation. And it was through that, like, I learned leadership skills, and I was able to share that with other people my age back then. And then also I became a coordinator when I was already an adult, and I encourage youth to also participate as well.
Okay, so when you were with Madera Evening Lions, was it the Leo's Club you were in, or were you actually in the Madera Evening Lions?
The Leo's Club.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Thank you, Mayor Garcia. Ms. Mejia, I will ask you this question. It's up to you if you want to answer, but it's again, I will also ask the question in regards to small business. what do you see the issues are for small businesses in our city? And the second part to that is, can you expand on what initiatives you would take to help these struggling small businesses within our community?
Okay. I think that the most immediate and urgent issue, it has been because of the pandemic. I do understand that we all need to do our part to stay healthy. But I think that businesses are struggling, and that's not new to anybody. And I think that at a local, state, and federal level, we all need to do as much as we can to pass policies and get help for businesses. Even though I don't own a business myself, like I am a consumer of local businesses, so I see that, and then I see how some are closing, and so that's discouraging to me. And I have talked to business owners before on Yosemite Avenue. Some of the things that I have heard is that they don't get enough help as far as their buildings. So I think that one of the biggest things that I can do is talk to business owners themselves and see what their needs are.
Thank you, Ms. Mejia.
Mr. Montes, you have another question?
Yeah, just coming back to the same second question that I asked. What would you do to prepare for an item that you did not have any experience with in the past?
What I would do to prepare would be to seek out people that I believe are versed in that topic. I think that the most important thing that council members can do is talk to people that are experts in that, people in the community, especially in the district that you represent. Research it, take the time to research it. And then one thing that helped me when I was a journalist is talk to people that have lived here for so long. The older folks were really helpful. And yeah, I think that that's what would help me the most to prepare for that.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Evans?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Mejia, you said that you were a volunteer at the community hospital, at Madera Community Hospital?
Yes, I was. I was a part of Madera Junior Volunteers when I was in high school, my junior and senior year.
Okay. Also, the homelessness that we deal with right now that's over on the river, as well as on Yosemite in the community, what would you do in reference to trying to help to improve that?
So I think that with homelessness, a big issue would be access to mental health services. And I think for everybody, not just documented folks, but I think a lot of undocumented folks, they especially lack that. And I think other local services are not being well taken advantage of. Or I'm not sure if it's misinformation, but I don't think that there is enough access to local resources.
And as far as the businesses on Yosemite, would you look to trying to find more businesses to come in as far as the vacant buildings that are there? Would you look to possibly even on East Street, the vacant lot that's located there? Some of the things that are on Yosemite, what would you propose to try to help them, the businesses that are there?
I believe in small businesses. I believe in our local residents having the opportunity to have their businesses. So I think that pushing local businesses more than anything, especially along Yosemite, which I think that's where people have had the opportunity to start those. I think that that's what I would push towards rather than big falls.
Thank you very much.
Councilwoman Gallegos?
Yes, Ms. Mejia, real fast. As you know, as a council member, we're servants of a heart because we do so much for our residents. So what's your main purpose or goal to serve as a council member in District 5?
My main purpose is to see it that we are represented, that there's transparency, that there's access to local government, that people feel like they are heard and that they're able to participate. So I think that a lot of our community, especially in District 5, needs to feel like they are part of local government and take ownership of it.
I would ask you, Elsa, the same question I asked Mr. Marascotti regarding high-speed rail and cannabis. If you're a proponent of either one of them, and what would you like to see for the city of Madera regarding both of those?
I am in favor of both. With high-speed rail, I wish that there will be more opportunity for students in Madera to be able to get high-paying jobs in high-speed rail when they're out of school. But even though the stop isn't in Madera, I feel like that it could still help us. And with the local college that Mr. Marascotti mentioned, there have already been enough missed opportunities for Madera. So I think that we need to take advantage of the things and not let them pass our way. And then with the local measure, I actually helped in that committee. I did a voiceover for that. So I am in favor of that.
Did you address the cannabis?
Yeah, I said I'm in favor of the
Okay.
cannabis. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Alicia, is there any questions from the public? Any comments?
I have comments, Mayor, from the public in reference to our candidate, Ms. Mejia.
Okay.
Begin to read them now. Good afternoon. My name is Veronica Rodriguez. I live on Clinton Street in Madera. I wanted to send this email to show my support for Elsa Mejia, who is running to fill the vacant position for District 5. I've known Elsa for about 20 years. I had the pleasure to meet her my 7th grade year at MLK, and ever since I remember, she has been passionate about seeing changes for the better. Through her writing as a journalist, active role in high school clubs, or just getting her to talk about more important subjects, today I can say with all my being that she truly cares for this city, and I know she could get anything accomplished. I have this is from Mr. Ramon Lopez Maciel. I consider myself a community advocate, and I had been volunteering my time serving the city and the Transit Advisory Board and the Planning Commission. First, I wanted to thank Mayor Garcia and all city council members for their service. I also want to thank all 3 applicants for their desire to be our representatives in the city. I read the 3 applications and all of them seem to be qualified. However, today I will speak in favor of Elsa Mejia. Elsa is a smart and educated lady and a community advocate who really cares for the needs of the people in District 5, who include many indigenous immigrants. As a community advocate, she had volunteered many hours to voter registration and promote democracy. During the 2018 elections, Elsa was a strong member of Madera Votes, a community group that many of you are familiar with. The time Elsa volunteered at Madera Votes contributed to positive change we are lately seeing in the City Council today. Elsa is a champion organized labor. She works every day advancing the needs of workers in the union. Her education makes Elsa qualified to work in another industry where she could be making good money, but she chose to stay in Madera, where her city where she can advocate for the needs of our community. District 5 has a large population of immigrants. Many of them, I get tongue-tied with this word, I'm sorry, indigenous from Mexico. And some of them cannot speak either English or Spanish. She also speaks their language, and she more than any of us understands their needs. If she is selected as the new city council member, Elsa will be the first member of this community holding office in Madera. Elsa is family oriented, and her family values adds in an asset today. Last night I called Elsa to wish her good luck in today's interview. I was expecting that she will be polishing her remarks for today's meeting, but she was helping in the hospital, visiting and helping her sister. In the council, we need people willing to sacrifice her need for others. In the council, we need people like Elsa. My name is Cindy Barragon, and I support Elsa Mejia to fill Council Member District 5. My address is 17027 Melba Drive in Madera, and I have known Elsa for 20 years. I've received some via email as we've been in discussion, Mayor. The first one is from Edgar Garcia. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Madera, and I'm emailing to my city council today to recommend that you place Elsa Mejia as the District 5 representative. As a lifelong Madera resident, I know she can speak for the majority of the district because she's lived in our neighborhoods and attended our schools. She is involved in our neighborhood and continues to do so. She donated to the homeless and also participated in soup kitchens to help feed them. She has demonstrated a lot of care towards the community and will continue to help the district with the utmost gratitude as the District 5 representative. Hi, my name is Patsy Mejia. I'm a resident of the city of Madera and I've lived in the District 5 all my life. I'm writing to City Council today to ask that you name Elsa Mejia as our District 5 representative. As a lifelong Madera resident, I know she can speak on what matters to us because she grew up in our neighborhoods and attended our schools. Elsa has volunteered and worked in the city of Madera, has formed an integral part of our community. She understands the issues that affect our neighborhood, and I'm sure she will work to address our concerns. She has the experience, she has the education, and most importantly, she has the passion. I trust she will represent us on City Council well and ask for your support in making sure she's chosen. Hi, my name is Jessica Flores. I'm a resident of City of Madera and I have lived in District 5 all my life. I'm writing to City Council today to ask that you name Elsa Mejia as our District 5 representative. As a lifelong Madera resident, I know she can speak on what matters to us. She's lived in our neighborhoods and attended our schools. As first generation and daughter of immigrant parents, her story is our story, and we trust she will represent us well on council. Hi, my name is Daniela. As a lifelong resident of Madera District 5, I'm writing to City Council to ask for your support in electing Elsa Mejia as our representative. I believe Elsa Mejia would be a great candidate because she has experienced firsthand what our neighborhoods and schools need. Thank you for your attention. Hi, my name is Trayvon Cummings. I'm a resident of the city of Madera and I've lived in District 5 all my life. I'm writing to City Council today to ask that I name Elsa Mejia as our District 5 representative. As a lifelong Madera resident, I know she can speak on what matters to us because she's lived in our neighborhoods and attended our school. As first generation and daughter of immigrant parents, her story is our story, and we trust she will represent us well on council. My name is Irvin Reyes, and I'm a lifelong resident of Madera County, currently residing in District 5. I'm writing to you today to formally nominate Elsa Mejia as our District 5 representative. As a resident who is concerned with future development and betterment of our community, such as schools, transportation, and other public infrastructure, I know that Elsa can be the catalyst for change that we need to see. She has lived, experienced, and participated within our community, and I know she is well equipped to speak on behalf of issues that are important to us. For all the reasons mentioned, I wholeheartedly encourage you to support Elsa Mejia to ensure a brighter future for generations to come. My name is Joanna Torres, and I've lived in Madera my entire life. I have known Elsa most of my life since we went to school together. She's always been a very intellectual individual. She's been the voice for District 5 since I met her. In Madera High School, I witnessed her advocacy and local issues during classes, clubs, and on our breaks, which transpired through her involvement in clubs outside of school hours, like the Madera Youth Group. As we grew older, I saw her skills sharpen as she received her higher education and continued to volunteer endless hours in our community through civic engagement and providing translating services for free, while holding a full-time job at the same time. I continue to admire her well-thought-out critical thinking as we discuss local issues as adults, which will greatly help balance our council's decision-making. I also believe that appointing her is the right thing to do because she's a reflection of District 5. Her appointment would give hope to our historically neglected neighborhoods on the east side. They deserve to have a strong Oaxaqueña represent them. Her proven leadership is well known in our community, especially in District 5. As someone who's been very involved in Madera, I couldn't think of anyone else better to serve District 5. A proven advocate in the community is exactly what District 5 deserves. I think council members who have been serving Madera for a while understand what I mean. I wholeheartedly hope that you all seriously consider Elsa to represent District 5. I look forward to watching the conversations unfold tonight and plan to comment as needed during the meeting. Thank you so very much for your time. Mayor Garcia and members of Madera City Council. Baldwin 2438 Plumwood Way in Madera. I'm heartened by qualities of all three candidates in reviewing their respective applications. They are all very well qualified candidates for the open position. Each represents different experiences, skills, knowledge, and personal strengths. I do not envy the chore you have to settle on one, since each will no doubt do an excellent job in serving the district and city. Accordingly, I would urge the council to look at the existing council members and choose the candidate that best add to the existing qualities on the council instead of duplicating those that are possessed by those members. In that regard, Elsa is unique in that she was born and raised in the district, and now, having acquired the requisite training, is returning home to serve her community and the city. She is the daughter of farm worker parents who went through the ranks of Madera schools before going on to college. Her academic background and work experience are quite diverse. She reflects those in her community of her generation. And it's fair to say she represents the best and brightest of the upcoming young people in Madera. Elsa is the future of this city and county, and I'm proud that she has stepped. I have known her since she was in middle school. Even then, she was a leader and exhibited great passion about social justice. She remained a member of Madera Youth Leaders through high school and a part of her college years during my time running the group. She later served as a coordinator of the group, and I can still recall encouraging her to get into politics and used to give her local newspapers to read to keep up on current events. Over the years, we've had many conversations about future plans, and serving her community has always been a prominent priority. It is with much enthusiasm that I recommend her for the position of council member. Thank you. And that is all I have received, Mayor. Thank you.
I do see a hand raised from number 9887. Mark, could you open that up so they can speak? That's the last four digits of the phone number in the attendees.
I've asked them to unmute.
Hello, if you are number 9887, can you unmute yourself and make your comment?
Do they unmute with *9?
Oh, they just hung up.
Okay, solves that. Okay, so we'll move on. Is there any other questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, we will now move on to candidate Matilda Villafan.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay. Hello, my name is Matilda Villafan, and I have lived in Madera all my life, born and raised. I currently reside in District 5 and don't plan on leaving. I also serve on the City Madera Loan Review Committee. I have worked at Table Mount Casino for 25 years and got laid off because of COVID. I want to be on the City Council board so that I can be a part of the positive growth of District 5. I know that I will be a great addition to this team because I want the same as all of you, and that is to make good and smart decisions for all of Madera. As a lifelong resident of Madera, I believe I'm qualified for this position because of my love for the city. What got me interested in getting involved in the political system of Madera was the need I saw for a crosswalk on Lily and Carey to Rose Elementary. As I walked my son to school each morning, I noticed the kids were not safe when crossing the streets because they didn't have the safety of a crosswalk. With no crosswalk, there's no need for the cars to slow down. Here are some of the points I would also like to address. The first point I would like to address is the need for crosswalks in District 5. The crosswalk on Carey and Lily is still desperately needed. We also need to maintain the crosswalks that we do have. Another point I would like to address is the lack of sidewalks in District 5. Lily and Clinton, no sidewalks. Rose and Washington, no sidewalk. Fig and Washington, no sidewalk. And most of Magnolia and Washington have no sidewalks. And the sidewalks that we do have, they're in need of repair. Sunrise and Adelaide, the sidewalk is lifted about a foot off the ground. 305 A Street, the sidewalk is also lifted. In 213 A Street, there's a huge lift and then it drops. There's no sidewalk, it's all dirt. This is a problem because we have many people in our district who move around in their wheelchair, and these broken and cracked sidewalks create an issue. Painting the cracks on the sidewalks yellow doesn't solve the problem. And the last point I would like to address is a safe walking trail. We need a safe walking trail in our neighborhood. The trail we do have ends on Lily and Clinton. We need the walking trail to continue and be safe for the community. And last but not least, I have gathered up 12 pages of signatures from members of my district stating that they support the idea of me filling a vacant spot. I have dropped off a hard copy of all the signatures I have gathered from the voters for Alicia Gonzalez. They're all right here. I have them right here. And hopefully this will demonstrate how important this position is to me. Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, I'm here.
I'll open it up to my colleagues for questions. Mr. Villegas.
Okay. Ms. Matilda Villafan,
Hello.
did you know, give me a number, do you know the demographics of the district?
Yes, when I went getting signatures for this, I met with a lot of the population, and most of them are Hispanics that don't speak English.
Give me a
They
number, how much percent? You think it,
probably about 70% to
we
80.
were very close. We have 85% Mexican Latinos in the District 5 only, not even counting in Madera. Okay, my question is, any other concerns in the district besides the ones you mentioned already?
One of the other issues I was concerned about is the homeless. There's a
Okay.
lot of homeless in the Rancho San Miguel area, and I would like to give them help also with mental health, and probably go talk to the director of the homeless shelter to see what he thinks they most need help in, because he's the one that runs the show there, so he would know what needs to be most addressed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilwoman Gallegos.
Yes, Ms. Villafan. You mentioned about 10 to 12 things on the sidewalks and crosswalks in your district. Just being very clear that you would represent District 5, but you're a council member for the entire city. So a lot of the issues that we have in the city aren't just sidewalks, they're parks, wastewater treatment plant, our water wells, and finances. What other areas do you think as a council member that you'll need knowledge of that don't just pertain to your district? What other areas do you think that would be concerned, that would be overall in the city of Madera?
I would, water issues would be something I would address, because a lot of Madera has flooding sections. We need to address that. And garbage all over downtown Madera. There's the corners, the two-story building on Yosemite. There's like a little bench in front. They throw all the trash behind it. So we need to figure out how to clean up the streets for downtown. And another one would be also with the homeless, finding out where they mainly hang out, so that we could address where we need to clean up. Sorry, I'm nervous. I haven't done an interview in a long time, so I'm trying to get used to the Zoom stuff and learning everything as we go along.
We're all in the same boat, believe me. Mr. Montes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Villafan, thank you for being here. So I'm going to give you the same question. So it's not going to be, you had a little bit of time to listen to this one. So what would you do if you made a bad decision, or if you realized later that you could have made a better decision?
What I would do if I made a bad decision is learn from my mistake. I've made several bad decisions as well, but I would try my best to figure out how I could better that decision. And it's human nature to mess up. So if I messed up, I would ask around, like ask for help on how to make better decisions. And what was the second question?
Well, it was. I'm waiting for my turn to go back around. I don't know if the mayor wants to give me.
You
Go ahead.
No, go right ahead, Mr. Montes. Go right ahead.
So for this one, it was just, what would you do if you made a bad decision, or if you realized later that you could have made a better decision? I think you answered that. The other question that I had for everybody was, what would you do to prepare for an item that you did not have any experience with in the past?
When I come across that, because I know eventually I will in future life, I would research and ask around for help. Hey, what do you think about this situation? And research and ask my colleagues that I graduated from school with, and see what best would fit me to follow through on it.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gallegos?
Yeah, I waited to my turn to ask a second question that went around.
Sorry, I messed it all up. I'm sorry.
We're all picky tonight.
Ms. Villafane, you said that you have been on the City Madera Grants Committee, but have you been on any other service organizations or on any other boards?
When I went to Fresno State, I was in a club called Los Trabajadores de la Raza, and I was secretary of treasurer for the club. And also when I did my internship at what's called field work at Fresno State, I worked for the Workforce Connection, and I helped organize events to promote cultural awareness to everyone around there. So we dealt with the Hmong community, the gospel community, churches, everywhere, education. I called them all up, and I would set them up a time so they could give a speech. And we did it inside the Fashion Fair Mall. Oh, no, the Manchester Mall. So I have a little bit of experience and stuff like that.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Garcia. In all fairness, I'll stick to the same questions I'd asked the other candidates there. Ms. Villafane, what concerns do you see with small businesses within our city? And the second question is, if appointed to the council as a council member, what initiatives would you take to advocate for the small businesses to the city council?
All right. First of all, I would look into setting up programs that help small businesses apply for state and federal grants. And the city can look into deferring, waiving fees. And some of the small business stuff, I would streamline the permitting process for businesses and beautify our city to attract more people to come and want to do business in Madera City.
Thank you, Ms. Villafane.
I would like to ask you the same question I asked the other candidates. Councilwoman Evans.
I know I blend in sometimes, Mayor, but I'm still here.
It's all right.
It's okay. Ms. Villafane, I do understand being nervous. I've sat in your seat before, so just kind of calm down. It's okay. You know, we're all here. We love you. We love you, you know, because we're all here trying to do the same thing. Okay, because we do share the river and because of the homelessness, what do you see yourself working towards in reference to trying to improve the homelessness? And what would you do also in reference to the street of Yosemite, because it's downtown? So what would you do in trying to improve that as far as businesses and maybe even bringing other businesses in? Would you attack that, or what would you do?
So concerning the homelessness, I would try to help more with the mental health programs that can help them recover. And also I would try to clean up downtown and revive the downtown, because I have spoken to some of the businesses on Yosemite, And I asked them what were some of the things that they would like for improvement. And one of the businesses said that he would like to be allowed to advertise more because his business looks like it's closed when you drive by, because he can't have a board in the front, or he can't have anything even wrapped around his car. And they would like a little more freedom in that. And also to clean it up, because he says that a lot of people think it looks scary because it's all dirty down there. So cleaning up the streets would help. And another thing that they told me was they would they know COVID is affecting them, so they really want them to do at least outdoor dining, because the ordering out is not cutting it for some of them. So they need outdoor dining to be in effect again. I'm sorry, what other question did you ask me?
That's basically it. That's basically it. You said about the streets in your area, and
Yes.
there's bad streets throughout
Yes.
Madera. Okay, so now because you have school-age children, correct?
Yes, I have a son.
Okay. Okay, what programs do you see possibly going to the elementary schools and even to some of the high schools? What do you see going to those?
I think they would be great help is schools with technology, coding and decoding. That's the way of the world as it is from here. My son is very computer savvy. He's the one that helps me with all this, and he's not here, so he can't help me now. But he also, more importantly, is reading programs and writing and math programs, because those are very essential to writing and moving on with life. And a few sports, but as right now, since it's COVID, it's not allowed. So mainly is reading and writing programs. That's where my son struggles, and a lot of the kids in the neighborhood struggle, because I volunteer at school. I used to, when we were allowed to go to campus, I would go every Monday, which was my day off. And the biggest struggle with the teachers was they had more percentage of the students that couldn't read at their grade level than could. So, and my son was in the middle. So I try my best to get him to read more, but it's harder now because of the online schooling. But my focus would probably be more on education, because it's important.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I would ask you, Ms. Villafan, the same question I asked earlier about high-speed rail, whether or not you're a proponent or supporter of high-speed rail, and what do you make of our decision to open up cannabis as an industry in the city of Madera?
I'm a strong supporter of the high-speed rail. We need access to more transportation, and the project will bring good paying jobs to our community. And as to cannabis, the voters voted for it. As a council, we need to put it in regulation, just like how we control the sale of alcohol.
Thank you very much. I am looking at a Cynthia Wilson. If you want, would you like to make a comment?
Yes, I would. I support Matilda Villafan for the city council. I, Cynthia Wilson, have been a resident of District 5 ever since 2009. And I feel that Ms. Villafan would fulfill the duties of the city council person so eloquently. I really think she would be an asset to our community.
Thank you very much. Alicia, do we have any other further comments out there?
Yes, Mayor. As Ms. Villafan mentioned earlier, she did drop off at City Hall this afternoon around 3:30. It's a petition, and it says, to Mayor Garcia and the City Council of Madera, we the undersigned petition the mayor and city council of Madera to appoint Matilda Villafan to represent our community as the council member for Madera City Council District 5. It also notes, by signing this petition, I acknowledge that this petition will become a public document and all information contained in it will be publicly available. This was received this afternoon at 3:30, and there's a total of 167 signatures that go along with this petition. And also, Mayor, there's one other public comment that was received just a short while ago. It says, from Courtney Gutierrez, good evening. As a District 5 resident, I'm writing to share my disgust with the questions asked by Mayor Garcia, zeroing in on 2 of your favorite politician initiatives should be considered a Brown Act violation as a sub-meeting. It is an abuse of a city council seat, and you're doing an absolute disservice by furthering your personal agenda. Because of this, the entire interview process needs to be redone, as this has been conducted outside of lawful proceedings while indicating that you are proponent for these items. This slants the answers of the candidates. And that completes all of the public comments that we've received, Mayor.
Hilda, would you like to comment on that last comment?
It is the position of that person. That resident has the right to have that opinion and to be heard by you this evening. From a legal perspective, in my view, it does not violate the Brown Act.
Thank you very much for that. I'm going to ask my colleagues. This has been an experience. I really appreciate the fact that the public has been invited in and to be able to express their views. I think it's very important for the city of Madera. I thank all of those who have participated in this exercise. Are there any more further comments from my colleagues? Hilda, I believe now it is time to make a, yes, Ms. Evans.
You need to watch me, but anyway, I just want
I'm looking for the little raised hand. I don't see it, but go ahead.
It's okay. I want to thank each and every one of you for applying. It's not an easy task to sit in front of individuals that you do not know. And it's not an easy task to have to come up with answers off the cuff. We've all had to do it, and I'm still learning. So I understand how you feel. I understand the things that are going on. And it is a difficult position to put yourself in right now, to be able to basically sell yourself to each and every one of us, to be able to choose and decide who we think may fit in. But I just want you to know that I thank each and every one of you, and God bless you, and good luck to each and every one of you. And that's what I have to say, Mayor.
I am looking at Councilwoman Gallegos.
Yes, Mayor Garcia. I just wanted to make a comment to my colleagues that in order to make this council move forward and work well, it needs to have a balance. And part of that balance would be different people bring different things to the table. And part of that is people in their personal, professional lives are in the private sector, and some that are in the public sector. And we've always had a balance of that. Right now, we are unbalanced, where we only have one person on council right now that's in the private sector. And I think that's something that we really should consider, knowing that we need to bring more business to Madera, make those decisions, especially after what we're going through with this pandemic and the COVID. I think it's important that we're not going to have an even balance, but right now, 1 out of 7, to me, it just seems to be a little unbalanced, and that we should really look at that also when we're making this decision tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
I move to make a motion.
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes, I move to make a motion. Oh, Mr. Montez has something to say.
I will allow you to continue and finish up, and then I'll acknowledge Mr. Montes.
Okay, I move to make a motion for Matilda Villafan to be seated for City Council, 5th District.
All righty. Is there a second? Mr. Villegas.
Yeah, I make a motion. I'll pick Matilda Villafan to represent District 5. I like the concern that she knows the district and a lot of issues. So,
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to clarify, was that a separate motion or was that a second for Matilda?
That was, I believe, a second. A motion was made by Councilwoman Evans, seconded by Mr. Villegas. I will now ask for discussion. Mr. Montes?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did want to echo some of the sentiments that my colleague said. That, first of all, I want to thank all the individuals, all the applicants who submitted applications. I know, again, it's not easy, but I am heartened to see that we do have individuals that are willing to make that sacrifice and work for their community. I can tell you from experience that it's not easy. There will be some long nights, many hours that you dedicate to this, some tough decisions that need to be made. And I hope that no matter what happens tonight, whatever the outcome is tonight, that all the applicants will continue to work towards improving Madera. And so I did, the decision today, it came down to reviewing the applications, listening to the presentations, and listening to public comment. I do believe that all the applicants before us are qualified. And I do believe that they would all bring their own something positive to the council. Mr. Marascotti, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, as well educated. He's got local business experience. He also has experience with advocacy boards. Ms. Mejia is also well educated, has experience with local businesses, media, and labor, and has a track record of community advocacy. And you can tell by the comments that we got that she has a lot of community support. Ms. Villafan, again, well educated, and has been involved in the local community. But taking everything into consideration, I would like to express my support for Ms. Mejia tonight. So I just wanted the council to know what my position is.
Thank you very much for that. There's a motion first and a second. Any others would like to comment? Okay, so you no further comment?
Yes, Mr. Mr. Mayor, there was I'm not sure if it's my computer, but I'm looking at a freeze. Is it me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm not sure if it's me or anyway, for the purposes of a nomination, I think there was a motion by Councilmember Montes. Was there a second? I'm sorry, I don't know if I missed that.
There was a motion by Councilmember Evans to appoint Ms. Villafan to District 5, and a second by Mr. Villegas to that effect.
Okay. Did I also hear a motion from Councilmember Montes?
Well, it is not appropriate to do a second motion at the same time that we're doing the first motion. We would have to first vote on the first motion.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
We'll move on to the next.
Wasn't sure if I heard that correctly.
I think council members may express their viewpoints on who they'd like, and that way people know what the vote will be.
Yeah.
And why they may not vote for somebody or vote for somebody.
Right, absolutely. Opinions can be expressed, absolutely. But we will take one motion at a time. At this time, is there any more comments?
Yes, Mayor Garcia, yes, I have a comment to make, if you don't mind.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez.
Okay, and I'll have to apologize because on my screen, I see you guys frozen. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I too wanted to show my gratitude to all the candidates tonight. I think you all bring a very well-versed quality to this council meeting tonight. You know, me in the private sector, obviously, and looking in business, I'm always favoring business because I think the city of Madera is a business, and it's always looking to try to balance a budget, look at profit and losses, and also try to encourage for new streams of revenue. I also am very touched by what Ms. Mejia and also what Ms. Villafan bring to the table. Obviously, they bring dedication and lifelong service, not to leave out Mr. Marascotti as well to the community. These are always tough decisions because, you know, there's always someone that gets appointed, and you don't know whether that's the district's choice or not. I'm in the favor of always allowing the voters to make that decision, and I know that tonight before us is a decision for us to appoint someone. But again, I wanted to appreciate every one of you for coming out here today and presenting your views of what Madera means to you and the questions that were asked. But again, I think tonight, whether we make a decision or not, I don't know for sure if that's the district's decision. I know this is someone that's going to represent that district, and I feel that tonight's a tough decision to rush into an appointment. I always feel that that the district should make that decision and the voters should make that decision. But again, before us, there is 3 candidates, and I wish you all the best of luck, and really thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rodriguez, for that. Hilda, could you clarify the position that we have to make a decision by the end of the month, or otherwise we would go to an election?
Under state law, the city, like all other cities, is given 60 days to either make an appointment to fill the vacancy for the unexpired term or to call an election. And that decision must be made 60 days from the date that the vacancy became effective, which was when you, Mayor, became mayor of the city. So you have very little time at this point. You did make your decision early in December, and you determined at that time that after considering all the pros and cons, as far as the cons, one of the considerations was that the position would be empty for almost a year. Number 2, the cost of the election. Those are 2 main factors that were considered in your decision making. So a majority of the council did adopt a resolution to pursue the appointment process. And so that is where you are today. If for some reason you do not get 4 votes for a particular applicant this evening, then it would be important for you to probably call a special meeting so that you can call an election before the 31st, I believe is the deadline. So you have very little time.
I want to thank you for that. As an added note, City Manager, I would like to ask you a question. If in fact we cannot come to a consensus tonight, what would you guesstimate what it costs for a special election in November, what it would cost?
Thank you, Mayor. City Clerk Gonzalez had reached out to the county to determine the approximate cost to hold a special meeting in November. And that cost, it's currently estimated between $15,000 and $20,000. Correct, City Clerk Gonzalez?
That's
Yes,
correct.
this is our report.
That's correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure that's clear for everybody concerned that there is a cost factor to an election for November. So do we have any more comments? I don't see any more hands raised. So we have, let me see. So we have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Evans to appoint Tilda Villafan to the District 5. second by Artemio, Council Member Villegas. All those, at least.
Mr.
Yes,
Mayor, if
Mr.
I may,
Rodriguez.
before you make that, I got a chat here from one of the candidates asking, I don't see a raise hand button on my screen. I'm not sure if Mr. Marascotti had a question. And I'm not sure if he's trying to get through that. So I just want to make you make note of that. Make you aware that there is I believe there's a question that he wants to ask, and I'm not sure that he sees a raise hand button on his screen.
I do not see a hand raised. Did you have a question, Mr. Marascotti?
No, I don't have a question. I would like to make a comment. I don't know if this will make your decision any easier or any harder. But after listening to the other two candidates for this position and all the things that were concerns to the other council members, I think that both of them would do a better job than I would do. So I would like to withdraw. So, because I think they both sound like they might be better suited to what everyone is looking for. So if that's, maybe I made your decision harder. But anyway, I would like to withdraw.
I want to thank you for that, for your candid comments that you want to make this, we all want to do the right thing for Madera. And so I want to thank you for withdrawing when you feel that it's that someone else should take the position. So I want to thank you for that. Thank you very much, sir. And please reach out to me. I will reach out to you. We both want to make Madera a better place, and I'm sure that your participation would help us and your guidance, as Ms. Gallegos had said, that you provide value to Madera. So I'll be calling you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, I think we can move on now. We have a motion and a second. Alicia, if you could call roll.
And this is for candidate Villafan, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. District 1?
No.
District 2?
No.
District 3?
No.
District 4?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
Mayor Garcia?
Yes.
So the final vote is 3 noes, 3 yeses. District 1 voting no, District 2 voting no, District 3 voting no, District 4 yes, District 6 yes, and Mayor Garcia yes.
And just for the future city clerk, a lot of people don't know what the district numbers are. So maybe in the future, just give the names. And so the motion has failed, council. So another motion would be appropriate.
Councilwoman Gallegos.
I so move to approve Ms. Mejia in District 5 seat as a council member.
Second that.
Motion by Councilwoman Gallegos to appoint Ms. Mejia, second by Mr. Montes. Alicia, could you call roll?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Gallegos?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Montes?
Yes.
Councilmember Evans?
No.
Councilmember Villegas?
No.
Mayor Garcia?
No.
We have a total of 3 yes votes, 3 no votes. Councilmember Gallegos voting yes. Councilmember Rodriguez voting yes. Councilmember Montes voting yes. Councilmember Evans voting no. Councilmember Villegas voting no. Mayor Garcia voting no. Motion fails.
Mayor and council, at this time, it is time for you to think about compromise. If in fact you do want to appoint somebody and not have to go to an election and literally not have anybody representing the district for a year. because that person won't be able, the elected person won't be able to come on board until December. So I really would recommend that you dig deep and determine what's in the best interest of the city for an appointment. And perhaps some of the members on the council would like to make some comments, further comments on why they want a certain person. And at the end, it looks like somebody would need to change their vote so that you can move forward. And if not, we're going to have to come back and call an election. We'll have to have a special meeting this week sometime.
We'll give my colleagues an opportunity to voice their opinion. Councilwoman Gallegos, can we start with you?
Yes, Mayor Garcia. Looking at the two candidates, and I really believe that being involved in the community and have done a lot in our community in the past says a lot. And so that was why I asked that one question. What have you done? What have you been involved? Service groups, boards? That to me is really important. I also like the answers I got from both candidates about being a servant to the citizens, and the answers that I received were great. I just felt Mrs. Mejia's were stronger, more voiced about her district. I did appreciate the comments that I knew several of the people that commented about her character. So I do take that to heart also. So that was one reason that I would sway towards Ms. Mejia to fill the seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Rodriguez. Jose?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Every time I try to hit the unmute button, somebody switches over to the other side of the screen and I press the wrong one. So anyhow, well, I think it's a very tough one here. I think both of the candidates here certainly appreciate that district, and people from that district certainly appreciate them. I certainly feel that Elsa brings a stronger quality, not because she's very ingrained in the community, and the amount of support and comments that were brought before us was a very overwhelming support. Also, that district and demographics, I think that question was asked earlier. Oaxaca is such a big part of this community. Madera is one of the biggest, is a city that where a lot of people from Oaxaca reside. And I think based on Elsa's qualifications and her resume, she has good quality and communication with the sector of the community, which really sustain a lot of the businesses downtown in that area. I feel that she brings a big quality, and not to disregard the other candidate, but I think Elsa certainly brings a much stronger quality here to this community, not only with the writing in the Tribune, understanding the justice that you the community justice that you did in the organizations that you served, the Evening Lions. I just feel that you're more ingrained and more in tune in what the people want in this community. So I mean, it's not a really tough decision, because I think at the end of the day, you brought the best qualities of what Madera is looking for within that district. At the end of the day, if this doesn't go anywhere, then obviously I think you still would appeal to the majority of this district. I think you bring up a very strong quality when it comes to that sector and that demographic of the community. So I would, again, I would ask that all of us look deep and see what's in the best interest of this community. But certainly I think, Elsa, you bring that quality. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Montes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I want to show my support for Elsa, and the decision came, I mean, I looked at everything, right? I looked at everybody, and I believe we did have 3 qualified candidates. And I think, like I said, that they would all bring something, their own special something to the council. But looking at the total body of work that Elsa presented is what put me over the top. Her community advocacy, her professionalism, the public support I know that a lot of people, they struggle on coming and making a comment or submitting something because it's public record. And you see how much support she had from the community. And I think that happened pretty organically. Also, I'd like to point out that she was the only person that, after her presentation, we got a wow, right? Good job. So, you know, it just shows the professionalism. And again, not to take anything away from anybody else, but I think if we're, you know, honestly evaluating these candidates, I do believe that Elsa would be the best representative for District 5. So I hope we can come to a compromise here and say, you know, move forward with that, with Elsa, appointing Elsa to District 5, the vacant position in District 5. Those are my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Evans?
I appreciate both of them, and I understand what everyone is saying as far as the difference between Elsa as well as Matilda. I look at Matilda more so as more of a mother figure, and the concerns as far as the community is concerned, the things that she implemented as far as what she would do as far as the city streets. I know we're all about the community of Madera, but right now I'm looking at focusing on each one of our districts. And also as far as education is concerned, I appreciated the fact of her speaking of the different programs that she would do as far as the education, as far as the schooling is concerned. So being a mother first, I look to that, and this is why I'm leaning still towards Matilda.
Thank you very much. Mr. Villegas?
Yes, Mr. Mayor Garcia, I see that both ladies have a lot of experience. Elsa has a more professional way, but Matilda have more like real concerns. I think she knows more the community, more the real issues of the community, more concerned. Elsa also too, but I think we need more, a person more that really knows and live life seeing the issues of Madera. And that's why I think Matilda is a little bit more, couple points over Elsa, because she's more older woman. She knows more. She saw things live, how they happen, how Madera has been developed and grow up, but a lot of issues that we have to focus on it. So I think Matilda is a little bit more aware of that. So that's my opinion.
Thank you very much. I've known Matilda for over 20 years. I know her family personally. I asked her to be on a board, a commission, when I was first elected to the city council in 2018. I think that she brings a wealth of experience to the city of Madera. She has participated in making the community better. As you can listen to her when she speaks about city streets, they echo my sentiments about city streets, city sidewalks, and more lighting for our community. And so her views are aligned with mine, and that's why I'm supporting her. I'm not taking anything away from Elsa. It's just that I just do not know Elsa as much as I do Matilda. And that's the reason that I'm leaning toward Matilda rather than Elsa, because Elsa brings a lot to the table, but I know Matilda personally, and she will be an advocate for District 5. And that's what we've been lacking. We've been lacking for years. That's why I continuously rail against East Madera versus West Madera, because I see where our resources have gone. I see where our sidewalks and our streetlights have gone, and they have not been equitable. They have not been represented on the east side of 99. And that's what I need. I need somebody to fight for the east side, just like we do for the west side. And so we can have a whole community, all of us together, and be uplifted. But if we don't have those, we'll just continue, as past city councils have, to vote to put the resources on the west side. I'm blunt. I've always been blunt. And these are my views, and I just want to make sure that you all understand that, because I want to make Madera a better place. I need someone in that position to do so. I just saw 2 screens. Okay. All right. So that is my rationale for this. I do not want to go to a special election because it will cost, but I do very strongly feel that Matilda would serve us better as a District 5 city councilwoman. So do we want to take another vote, Hilda? Is that what we're leaning toward, or?
That's your prerogative as a council. Any council member at this time may make another motion again and try it again. And if it doesn't work, then it looks like you'll be calling a special meeting this week.
Okay. Councilwoman Evans?
I move for a special, another vote, not a special election, because that's $15,000 to $20,000 for the city of Madera. And that's what we're trying to avoid, is trying to have to spend extra money to have another election. So I move to, let's do another vote.
Okay, so are you making a motion?
I'm making a motion for another vote.
Okay, and what is your motion?
I still motion for Matilda.
So you want to make a motion that we appoint Matilda Villafan to District 5?
Yes. I don't want to sound pessimistic. I don't want to sound age-worthy, but I'm leaning towards more of the fact of the seasoning of Matilda versus Elsa. And Elsa, there's nothing against you. You have beautiful qualifications, but I'm looking towards the fact of there's a mother there that is going to fight harder, to me, for the betterment of the schools, the betterment of the community, and the homelessness, the trying to have things going on as far as making District 5 a better place for the people that are there. So that's my comment.
Okay, motion has been made. Is there a second? You should have to say something, Mr. Villegas.
Yeah, I'll make a motion and appoint Matilda Villafan.
So you're seconding the motion by Councilwoman Evans?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilwoman Gallegos.
Oh, that was a comment. I can make it after we go through the motion.
So you don't want to comment on this right now?
I was going to try to comment before a motion. I'll just wait.
Okay.
Motion on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matilda, I think you have 2 screens. You need to turn off one.
I only have one.
There's 2. Okay, now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Motion's been made by Councilwoman Evans, second by Councilman Villegas. Alicia, could you call roll, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Gallegos?
No.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
No.
Councilmember Montes?
No.
Councilmember Evans?
Yes.
Councilmember Villegas?
Yes.
Mayor Garcia?
Yes.
And we have three no votes, 3 yes votes. Councilmember Gallegos voting no. Councilmember Rodriguez voting no. Councilmember Montes voting no. Councilmember Evans voting yes. Councilmember Villegas voting yes. Mayor Garcia voting yes. Motion fails.
Mr. Montes, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I believe we have some people wanting to make public comments. So I just want to see if public comment period was closed. And then after that, I did have a comment regarding, well, our item tonight. So I don't know if we can we address those public comment?
Well, we've gone through that. I think we're at the stage where we're voting. So if you want to make a comment, you should go ahead.
All right. So I would want to add as well that I don't think Ms. Villafan is a bad person, and I've known her family, known her brother since high school. I do think that she would be a good council member, but I'm trying to look at this objectively. I'm taking that personal feeling out, and from the body of work, from the advocacy that Ms. Mejia has presented from a very young age, very involved in the community for a very long time. And I would argue that the seasoned advocate is Ms. Mejia. And for that reason, I would make a motion to appoint Ms. Mejia to the vacant District 5 position.
I would second that.
I believe it's our responsibility to look at this objectively and say, take all the facts, not just, oh, somebody's my friend, so I'm going to put him in there. That's my opinion. But I think that as council members, we have that responsibility to the community to move forward that way.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Gallegos?
Yes, and I just want to say that I don't know either young ladies. I'm looking at it very objectively on not a season. This is city policy. This is government. This is not school district. This is not education. I'm in education. I'm in the school district. This is a whole nother ballgame. This is a whole nother beast. And even though we do work together, right now we're looking at somebody that has knowledge in this community, has been involved, who has the ability to reach out to the people, that has that communication. And both these ladies have it. And I don't know either one of them. So it's not my friend or your friend. I just feel from what I've read, what we've gotten and person face to face with these young ladies tonight, that I feel that Elza is that person. I've worked with several young council members and older seasoned ones. And I do feel Elza is very seasoned in her knowledge. And with that, I feel that she would also bring a youth into the council that is needed. Because again, I've talked about balance in the council and not just with private and public sector. It could be female, male, and with age. So that was one reason I would be advocating for Elza also. And with that, I'd like to motion Elza Mejia in District 5.
Do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Evans.
I have a comment. Someone that has been trying to get in. She says that she keeps trying to come in as far as making a comment. Her name is Johanna Torres Diaz, and she's not able to get in.
Well, so, I closed public comment as I was explaining to Councilmember Montes. I do appreciate this, but we need to make a vote, and we need to get through this process. And I don't want to go back there because we might have 25 different comments to continue. So rather than do that, I think what we should do is move forward. So there is a motion to appoint Elsa to the District 5. Is there a second?
So I believe I motioned it first before, and then Councilmember Rodriguez seconded it. So we did have a motion on the floor.
Okay.
Councilman Rodriguez has a question. His hand's been
up. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Garcia. So I know that this is not an easy task, and especially if the council does not reach consensus. I think, like I said before, we have two young ladies looking to be appointed, and I think they both bring good qualities. For what it's worth, I think as I don't want to call myself a seasoned council member, but just being on the council, I kind of gotten a sense of what the community needs and what it's requesting, whether it be on the east side or west side. And one of the qualities that I've heard from Elsa is exactly what the district and that District 5 needs. And to no surprise, I think you see that also from other, and I don't know if we want to call ourselves seasoned council members, because that's not the proper term, but rather, just been on the council a bit more, because we've been exposed to see what the biggest needs are for our city. And I think bringing on someone like Elsa can certainly enhance that and help bring what this community has been requesting is the growth of businesses, the growth of certain districts, advocacy. And I think she eloquently brought that in her resume, in her presentation, not only in English, but also in Spanish, letting you know that there's a big need for a lot of Spanish-speaking businesses out in that area. And I'll reiterate again, the Oaxaca community being one of the biggest communities in, I want to say, United States here in Madera. And we serve that population. And who better than someone that serves as a conduit to that community than your very own Elsa Mejia. I think she brings a sense of youth, and again, not to disregard anything that Ms. Villafan brought to the table, but I think that's a very strong quality. And again, to no surprise, I think you see that a choice from your I don't know if seasoned is the word there, but the need that's needed for this community. So I know I made that second because I feel that she does bring the stronger quality. I would hope that one of you would at least consider that and look at it, that it's a win-win for Madera. It's a win-win for Madera. And again, I think what she expressed earlier is the biggest quality that this council needs today. So that being said, again, I support that second. And those are my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much for that. There's a motion been made and second by Alicia. Could you call roll, please?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Gallegos?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilmember Montes?
Yes.
Councilmember Evans?
No.
Councilmember Villegas?
No.
Mayor Garcia?
No.
We have 3 yes votes, 3 no votes. Councilmember Gallegos voting yes, Councilmember Rodriguez voting yes, Councilmember Montes voting yes, Councilmember Evans voting no, Councilmember Villegas voting no, Mayor Garcia voting no, motion fails.
At this point, I believe that we have done, we voted a couple of times. Mr. Rodriguez, did you have something else to say?
Well,
I see
seeing
you.
that, yes, seeing that there really isn't any movement, I mean, and I don't know that the additional appointee withdrew or not, but I mean, as a consideration, just to throw it out there is, if we're gonna stand divided here and not have consensus, would that third candidate consider that? I mean, obviously, you always want to choose a person that's supported and championed by the district, and I feel that all 3 bring in good qualities. Again, like I said earlier, I think the business portion of it is huge in the city of Madera, because again, the city of Madera is a business, and we're in the business of managing expenses and revenues. And I think one of those candidates has that experience, but I don't know that be something that this council would consider is possibly, bringing that back to life and see if that additional candidate would be considered an appointment.
Mr.
If we can't reach consensus and this is going to be divided, and the concern is about, having a special election, and you're concerned about the money, then, you always have that other option. Because at the end of the day, the $20,000 is well deserved for that community to find someone that they want champion their district.
Well, Mr. Rodriguez, we have gone, we had a person drop out and has not asked to be placed back into consideration. So I think we need to move on from that. At this point, unless one of the two candidates wants to drop out, then I think we're going to have to move on to a special election in November.
So Hilda, do you need a motion for that special election or just automatically happens?
No, you're going to have a special meeting so you can come back and adopt a resolution because that's not on the agenda. So it does look like the two sides are entrenched. There is impasse. You've had multiple votes and the parties have remained the same. So I would recommend that you right now discuss a date for your special, to have a special meeting this week.
Well, Hilda, I understand that we have limited time, so how soon do we need to get this going?
By Friday.
So then we would need to have a special election, maybe no later than Thursday?
No, you would have to have a special meeting to call it.
That's what I meant, a special meeting. I'm sorry, not a special election, a special meeting to have a resolution for the special election, right? There's just too many specials in that.
Right, and we would, the city clerk, city manager, and I would have to hurry up because I certainly didn't expect this. Hurry up and put together a staff report and a resolution calling for a special election. And
can the team do it by Wednesday or Thursday? When does the team think they can pull that together?
I can see what Arnoldo and the city clerk say. From my perspective, as far as probably Thursday would be better for me, just for more time and also because I would not be able to attend the Wednesday meeting.
The 28th? Are you looking at the 28th?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So then we shall proceed getting a special meeting organized by Thursday so that we could finalize this episode, correct?
May want to ask your colleagues, Mr. Mayor, if they're available Thursday.
Is there anyone not available on Thursday? Would it also be a 5:30 or would it be a 6? Mr. Montes, are you available? Okay. Then 5:30 is fine? Or 6? Mr. Montes?
5:30 is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have the consensus there. I was going to say 6 o'clock, but I think you have the majority already.
Okay.
Directing to 5:30.
So Alicia, when you get that together, if you could notify us, put the public in on notice also, we'd appreciate that.
Absolutely, Mayor.
And with that, seeing no others raising their hands for comment, I will go ahead and conclude this meeting. You all have a good night.
Thank you. City clerk and city manager, can you call me? I'm at the office so we can.
Absolutely.
We have time. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night,
everyone.